Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Vallabha Radha, Vallabha Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra Devi. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaura Hare Bol. Gaura Premanandi. Jaya Om Vishnupadaya Paramahamsa Parivrakracharya Astotara Abhaya Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. ISKCON Founder-Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri 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 Jagannatha Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki Jai. Shri 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 Gaura Nitai ki Jai. Shri 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 Radha Bala Bhagavani ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri 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 Guru and Gauranga. So today we are reading from Canto 6 of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Chapter 15, titled Narada and Angira Instruct King Chitra Ketu. Text number 26. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tasmat svastena manasa. Tasmat svastena manasa. Vimrishya gatim atmanaha. Vimrishya gatim atmanaha. Dvaite duruvarta vishrambam. Dvaite duruvarta vishrambam. Tajopasanam avisa. Tajopasamam avisa. Tasma svastena manasa. Tasmat svastena manasa. Vimrishya gatim atmanaha. Vimrishya gatim atmanaha. Dvaite duruvarta vishrambam. Dvaite duruvarta vishrambam. Tvajopasamam avisa. Tvajopasamam avisa. Matajis. Dvaite duruvarta vishrambam. Tvajopasamam avisa. We'll go for word-to-word translation. Tasmat, therefore, swastena, with a careful, manasa, mind, vimrishya, considering, gatim, real position, atmana, of yourself, dvaite, in the duality, dhruva, as permanent, artha, object, vishrambam, belief, tvaja, give up, upasamam, a peaceful condition, Avisa. Take two. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, O King of Chitra Ketu, carefully consider the position of the Atma. In other words, try to understand who you are, whether body, mind, or soul. Consider where you have come from, where you are going after giving up this body, and why you are under the control of material lamentation. Try to understand your real position in this way, and then you will be able to give up your unnecessary attachment. You will also be able to give up the belief that this material world or something not directly in touch with service to Krishna is eternal. Thus, you will obtain peace. Purport, a short one. The Krishna consciousness movement is factually endeavoring to bring human society to a sober condition. Because of a misdirected civilization, people are jumping in the material life like cats and dogs, performing all sorts of abominable, sinful actions and becoming increasingly entangled. The Krishna conscious movement includes self-realization because one is first directed by Lord Krishna to understand that one is not the body, but the owner of the body. When one understands this simple fact, he can direct himself towards goal of life. Because people are not educated in terms of the goal of life, they are working like madmen and becoming more and more attached to the material atmosphere. The misguided man accepts the material condition as everlasting. One must give up his faith in material things and give up attachment for them. Then one will be sober and peaceful. Again, I'm going to read this. One must give up his faith in material things and give up attachment for them. Then one will be sober and peaceful. Om Agyana Timbanadasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Guruve Sri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahi Tadatisva Padantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, Angera Muni, Angera Rishi, is talking to King Chitra Ketu. To all these verses, he is talking for Chitra Ketu Maharaj to come out of illusion, to come out of his dream, He's dreaming. So that he can be free from lamentation or sorrow. What is the sorrow Chitraketu Maharaj is facing at this point in time? What is the sorrow King Chitraketu is facing now? He wanted a son. He got a son. The son died. So he's in full of lamentation, sorrow. He wanted something he wanted, but that did not last for long. And therefore, he was in full lamentation. So Angira Muni is giving the spiritual instruction that please come out of illusion and know yourself. Yeah? So in this text, King Chitraketu Maharaj is saying, oh Chitraketu Maharaj, carefully consider the position. Try to understand, who are you? Where have you come from? Look at all these questions. Yeah? Now a similar personality, one of our acharyas asked this question, right? Who am I? What is the purpose of my life? Why am I suffering in this material world? Who is that? Who asked this question? No one? Sanatana Goswami asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who am I? Why am I suffering in this material world? For this, Chitraketu Maharaj is suffering in the same way, right? So, Angira Muni is giving the instruction. You should understand your position. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu answered to the call of Sanatana Goswami. What did he say? Jivere Swarupoi Krishnere Nityadas. Yes, as long as one does not understand that he is a servant of Krishna, he has to suffer through the material turbulences. That is how Krishna's Maya will work. Krishna's material energy is going to work. So, if one does not want the turbulences of this material world, then one must act as a servant of Krishna. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. And here, Angira Muni is giving an instruction that try to understand yourself first. Come to the spiritual realization. Understand who you are. What is your position? Where did we come from? Where are we going to go? All these questions we should know the answer for. Yeah? So, this material energy puts us, all the souls, in a dreaming state. We are dreaming, okay? My house, my family, nothing wrong. But we are in a dreaming state. Okay? Just to talk about this dream, there is a quick story. Very quick one. Once, a king, he had a lot of dreams. Yeah? And one day, yes? Do you have dreams too? You have to? Okay. Then you should listen to this story. Then the king was constantly dreaming. Sometimes we also dream. And then one particular day, the king was dreaming about as if he was a butterfly and he was going from flower to flower like that. He wanted to know what is going on. So he has got a very able and a wise minister. He called the minister and asked, what is the purpose of this? The minister is very intelligent. Okay? Every time when the king asks a question, the minister has to give him spiritual direction. Because king is always engrossed in the material atmosphere. So this wise minister told him, okay, in the night you have dreams, okay? You're asking me to know, or you're wanting me to know the answer. But in the daytime also you're dreaming. You are dreaming as a king. So in the daytime you're dreaming as a king. So in the night time you're dreaming as a butterfly. What difference does it make? Because what you're doing in the daytime is daytime dreaming. In the night is nighttime dreaming. So nothing is real. You have to come to your real position. The same instruction is repeated by, or is told by, Angira Muni, that please, let's all try to understand who we are. We are in an identity crisis. You know what is identity crisis? We don't know who we are. This material energy puts us into that identity crisis. Who are we? If we are permanent being, then we should not die. But we have to die. But we are spirit soul. We don't die. So what is that going on? So much anxiety, confusion, identity crisis you are facing through. Okay? So, in the previous verse, just to connect, see the connectivity. In the previous verse, it is said that, Angira Muni is saying that the body which is given by the material energy is the root cause of all problems. Can we understand that? How do we understand that? The body which is given by the material energy is a cause of all problems. And to add on to that, he's saying that is a gross body as well as a subtle body, the concocting mind. The mind concocts. That is a reason for the birth and death. It concocts. Keep on contemplating on material things for nothing. And therefore, that is going to lead to different births. And in this verse, number 26, Angira Muni is saying, please rise up to the occasion. Try to understand your real position. Then what happens? Then you will be free from suffering, and then free from anxiety, and you will be peaceful. In the purport, 26, Srila Prabhupada is saying, because of the misdirected civilization, people are jumping in the materialistic life like cats and dogs. Yeah, very serious statement by Srila Prabhupada, cats and dogs. Not only this time, many times we see in the purport of Srila Prabhupada, he uses like that, cats and dogs, yeah? Why does he use that? There's a purpose behind that. Why does he say cats and dogs? What's the reason behind that? We have to understand, isn't it, a little bit, the mood of our Founder-Acharya. Why is that?
Because of mode of ignorance and mode of passion. Mode of ignorance and passion.
Passion?
Yeah, drinking and woman hunting.
No, that's okay, but my question is, why is Srila Prabhupada saying cats and dogs? What's the speciality, or why does he use the word cats and dogs?
Eating.
Of course, eating. There is some meaning, isn't it? Otherwise, why will he put it in the purport? Many times, cats and dogs, cats and dogs. Something, he's trying to imply something. Yes? It is simple. Because also elsewhere, not elsewhere, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, this is a simple fact. So simple. He talks about only simple things for us to understand. So it's not very difficult to understand cats and dogs. So what is the behavior of a cats and dogs? The cats and dogs will be always fighting. There is no cooperation. In the material world, if we fight means we are like cats and dogs. That so many things. For cats and dogs on Srila Prabhupada's one, we can talk one Bhagavad Gita classes, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam class. One class can be taken. So much of meaning in that. Then, the cats, and mostly the cats and sometimes the dog, they got the stealing mentality, habit. The cat does that, I believe. It takes something and hides it, so that the master has to look for it, and then it will take and give it to the master, so that the master has a good reputation for him or her. See, stealing habit. We also see, when we are grown up also in India, the cat sneakingly comes and takes the milk. You give the milk to the cat, the neighbor's cat or something, but still it wants to steal. So the stealing mentality is there in the cat. And dog, what mentality is there? When someone comes near his territory, the dog will bite or it will bark. Yes? He thinks that this is my area. Don't you come. You may be a stranger going across, but if someone goes near the owner, near the house of his owner, the dog is going to bark, because it thinks that that is his territory. So human beings are also thinking like that. Yeah, my territory. This is my border. If you come, then I'll shoot you. So this mentality, stealing mentality. We steal the material things which belongs to Krishna, and we think as if everything is okay. But it's not okay, because you've got a stealing mentality. And then what else is there? What else is there? The animals are in the mode of ignorance. They cannot understand the spiritual nature. They cannot understand. Even though you give training to them, they cannot understand, because they are created in the mode of ignorance. And what else is there? They know only about the body, sense gratification, nothing else. When can I get my food? When can I get a pat from my master? When will my master take me for a walk? That's all they know. So, Srila Prabhupada uses this, cats and dogs. Not only that, in other purport, Srila Prabhupada also uses some other animals. Which animal does he use? He uses hogs. Why? Because all the time hog is eating. We can see sometimes people, they're eating in the tram, on the tram, outside the tram, on the road. Everywhere they're eating, like hog. And then camel. He says camel too. What does it mean by camel? Camel puts the thong and chews, gets his own blood, tastes the own blood, and finds happiness. Camel. Then ass, donkey. He calls them as donkeys also. Why does he say donkey? Because a donkey is a very foolish animal. Yeah? Endeavor and hard work for nothing.
Few morsels of grass.
Yeah. Then they're working very hard. There is a story, a funny story relating to donkey. Okay? 2 donkeys were there. Yeah? Anyway, they're foolish. One donkey was talking to the other donkey. Why do you work so hard? Huh? I know that there is some grass there. I go and take it. But you're working very hard for your master. You're taking, washerman, you're taking a lot of clothes on your back. So much hard work. But he is also giving you the same grass or a bit of a carrot. So why do you work very hard? Now, the second donkey, who's working for the washerman, what did he say? He said, no, I'm working hard because I've got a purpose in life. So this first donkey said, what is the purpose? I would like to know. Oh, it is, I can't tell you, but because you are my friend, I'm telling you. What is that purpose? He said, many times the washerman has got a daughter, a good daughter, beautiful daughter. Many times I've seen the washerman talking to the daughter. If you misbehave, if you don't listen to me, I'll get you married to the donkey. I've heard this many times. So, I'm waiting for an opportunity so that I'll get the washerman's daughter married to me. This is a state of a donkey. So in the same way, Srila Prabhupada compares to various animals because they're behaving like that. And what happens for these people? If you behave like animals, in the next birth, one will become an animal. For sure. One behaves in the mode of ignorance. One will become that state, like an animal in the next birth. That's why we should be very careful which modes we are associating with. Now, again, coming back, Srila Prabhupada says, performing all sorts of abominable, sinful action become increasingly entangled. So, in my circle, sometimes I'm invited for some seminar, okay? In a seminar, these people always have some seminar, updates on this, updates on land titles, updates on whatever, settlements and all that. So once, an Indian guy, an Indian body, he organized a seminar. So he invited me. You know how they go through the list and they come, oh, Surya means, oh, he called me, hi Surya, how are you, what is it, good, blah, blah. Now, we are organizing a seminar. I think it's very useful because as a conveyancer and all that, you should know this, very important feature. And therefore, we are organizing this on an evening. I said, oh, evening, it'll be a bit hard for me, but I'll try to come, And then I said, fine, when is the program? He said, from 6 to 8, they have this seminar by this big guy who's coming and he's talking. Then what is next, I asked. He said, after that, we'll have drinks party. Huh? Drinks party? Yes. And then he said, Surya, I've got an advice for you. I said, what is that? Please do not drive and come by a cab, so that when you're drunk, while going back, you'll be okay. Police will not catch you. Oh, I said, thank you for the tips. Please take a cab. Don't worry about the money, okay? Take a cab and come. Okay. Now, I said, what time the party finishes, Maybe midnight or in the morning. The seminar goes for 2 hours. No, it is a fact. Why do I say this? Because I've been invited. 6 to 8 is a seminar. So I say 8:30. 8:30 to 12:30, 1:30, 2:30 drinking. So why do not Srila Prabhupada call them cats, dogs, hogs, donkeys? See? They're behaving like that. Drinking constantly. What will happen? Yeah? People who drink, their liver will be gone. Information to you. Get this knowledge, okay? People who eat meat, their cholesterol system will be gone. Too much of a deposit. They will die out of heart attack. When someone dies of a massive heart attack in the young age, too much of meat eating. Too much of drinking, liver is gone. Too much of smoking, lungs are gone. It's nothing. We have to trade off something, the material energy. It's a problem. Gambling, money is gone. Womanizing, health is gone. What do you have trade for? What is there you're trading for? Everything is gone. That's a trade-off. You give, you lose something, and then you get the enjoyment. Is it worth it? You know what is the functionality of a liver? So important. It excretes everything we eat. When we eat, it's got a tendency, kidney as well as in conjunction with the liver, excrete the matter and give the liquid portion to the kidney, and then the solid portion comes out. Such an important functionality of liver that is trading off for some drinking. Really, I was, what can I say? I was bewildered, hearing this statement. And not only, so many people are coming for this seminar and drinking. So this is what Srila Prabhupada is talking. So what do we learn? We learn that materialistic education deals with matter. It increases the desire. It increases attachment. And therefore it leads to lamentation, sorrow. Sometimes we see some person, yeah, they're decorating their cars very nicely. Have you seen that? They put very nice paint. Okay? They change the wheel, alloy wheels and all that. And then they change the silencer and all that, engine change. So when they go on the road, brrr, we'll be shaking like this. And all will be looking at that. I'll be, thinking, you just go off like that. So much noise, so much pollution and painting and all that, Now these guys, I've seen one such, where these guys going on of course this person, there was an accident on the freeway. And this person was totally devastated because his whole attachment for the car, see, painting, everything is there. Whatever you change and to attract. And when the car met with an accident, completely devastated. Okay? But whereas the person who were driving on the freeway looked at this guy, okay, maybe this driver is an idiot. He doesn't know how to drive. They may be thinking, and on top of that, some of them are looking with sympathy and all that. So on top of that, he's getting more annoyed. But the other people who are driving, they are not attached to this car. Why? Yes, it is not their car. And because the attachment is his desire is fulfilling in terms of his attachment. Okay? In the same way, for example, us, okay, I want to get a computer, I want to buy a car, I want to buy a house, etc., etc. Then what happens? The attachment is for me. So it expands. And someone else will not know what I want. But in case, if there is a problem to my house, problem to my car, problem to my computer, who is suffering? Me. Because it is my desire. I had that desire, I had it, and because of the loss of that particular object, I'm feeling miserable. So, here, in the same way, Chitra Ketu is also facing the same thing, attachment. His personal desire is to have a son. And when the son was taken away, he could not withstand that lamentation. So Angira Muni is saying, detached from the material energy. Don't show attachment. And Srila Prabhupada also says in the purport. So, how are we going to deal with this problem? How are we going to deal with the problem? We have desires, okay? We have attachment. We have to show the attachment. We will be attached to something. If not this book, if not this specs, if not this table, I'll be attracted to this one. Or I'll be attracted to this table or this chair. Something I'll be attracted to. So how do we act in this material world? What's the solution for this? Yeah? Yes. The attachment from matter has to be changed to spirit. That is the only way. That is the only way. There is no way attachment can be stopped. Impossible. It is natural attachment. Very, very natural. So therefore, the process of shifting from matter to soul, that we should know as a devotee. Then it will be good. Otherwise, turbulations, okay? Now, there is a quote from Chanakya Pandit. Okay, I thought it's very important. So I thought, Chanakya Pandit, Srila Prabhupada also quotes. He says, there is no misery like attachment. There is no happiness like detachment. Chanakya Pandit. Sometimes they're very learned people. They say something which got full of meaning. Yeah. So once again I read that. There is no misery like attachment. There is no happiness like detachment. So, we have to see how we are going to fit into this. Yeah? And also in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, to understand the simple thing that we are not the body, but the owner of the body. Owner of the body. Okay? Recently, I was talking to one of my business colleague. Because it was Janmashtami, yeah, he's an Indian body. So I thought, okay, no problem. We can always call him, no? Janmashtami, Krishna's birthday. I didn't say Janmashtami. Say Krishna's birthday, someone's birthday, you respect them. Or you can say, this is my friend's birthday, oh, I'd like to come like that. So Krishna's birthday in the temple, do you want to come? That's all. Now, he took a Bhagavatam class for me. That's all I said. Full Bhagavatam, he said. Probably, I think he knows a couple of verses, okay? He was expanding on that. Yeah? He says, I know the Lord is in my heart. Okay? The Lord doesn't want you to come to the temple. Why are you inviting me to come to the temple? Now, I know Krishna from birth. I have read Bhagavad Gita. So, is it not enough? Why are you calling me to the temple? I thought I've done a big offense. Then I said, do you really know what is the instruction Krishna told you? What is the instruction of Bhagavad Gita? I know. He said, then I thought he doesn't know. Because he's not telling what he knows. He says, I know. I said, Krishna said, but still I blasted him out. Krishna said that you are not this body. Yeah, I know that. Then I said, if you know that, then we as a soul, we should come and see the Supreme Soul. For that again he was upset in all that. But I thought, okay, it's not going to work. Okay? Then I changed the matter. I went to his own area. Then what do you think of this planning and all that? He said, oh, that is what. So we deviated the matter. So what I'm trying to say is, so much attached to the material energy, and they've got their own concoction about God. They want God in the way they wanted to, they desire for. So the Lord is in the heart. I will, pray in the Lord and all this, Then I said, okay, maybe some other time it will act only when we give prashadam or something, okay? Philosophy did not work. Just few also. But he spoke a few Bhagavad Gita verses. Then I don't know how he learned that. But, like same misinterpretation. No clear understanding. He did not know Janma Karma Chame Divyam. In truth, this is what Krishna wants. One who understands the activities and the birth, transcendental birth of Krishna in truth will come to Krishna. And people who are not faithful in this process will return to the path of birth and death. Those who are not faithful in this process, don't lack faith, they will return to the path of birth and death. But those who know Krishna in truth, what happens? They will go to Krishna after birth. Very, very important. Okay. So, having spoken about, so we'll quickly differentiate between spiritual knowledge and material knowledge. Now what happens is, material knowledge is there, right? Everywhere it's there. You go to a college, school, everything is there. This material knowledge helps us to live comfortably, not comfortably, reasonably in this material world. Because through the job, through our earnings, through our education, we get a job. And through the job, we get the earnings. And through the earnings, we can live relatively okay in this material world. So material world provides some living. Material world and material education gives us some means of living. But spiritual knowledge, yeah? How does one get the spiritual knowledge? What are the sources of spiritual knowledge? The spiritual knowledge is important because just as much as we use the material knowledge to live comfortably in the material world, in the same way, if you do not have spiritual knowledge, the real problems of life cannot be solved. It will be existing. Not only this birth, next birth also. If you do not solve, next birth also. It keeps on haunting us. So we must know the spiritual knowledge and we must solve the real problems of life. What are the real problems of life? Birth, death, old age, disease. It's a problem we have to solve only by spiritual knowledge. Now, what are the sources of spiritual knowledge? How do we get a spiritual knowledge? There are three main aspects. Very famous, common statement we use. You have heard this many times. Three main sources of knowledge, spiritual knowledge. Yes. Here, Angera Muni is telling to King Chitra Ketu. What is that? Who is Angera Muni? He's a sadhu. And Narada Muni is a guru. And Shastra, they're teaching Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. See? Through Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, through the guru and through a sadhu, a holy person, we can only get spiritual knowledge. And that spiritual knowledge, we'll be able to differentiate between matter and spirit, body and soul. Very, very simple. Srila Prabhupada is saying, one should understand this simple fact. It's not complicated. What is the fact? That you are not the owner of the body. You are not the body, but you are the owner of the body. I am living in my house. I am not the house. I am driving the car. I am not the car. I am living in this body. I am not the body. So this fundamental point, one must know that one is not the body, one is beyond the body. Yeah. So, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay? Although we spoke about it, material person, spiritual person, materialistic knowledge, spiritualistic knowledge, spiritual knowledge and all that, we spoke, right? Sometimes we see that the materialistic person, yeah, they're too much enjoying. You know, they have parties like that, as I said, parties, going out, eating, all this they're enjoying. But yet, they're very, very unhappy, or they're very less happier than a devotee. Why is that? Yeah? The materialistic person, they try to enjoy. Try, grab it. Here, there, wherever there is enjoyment, grab it. There is enjoyment, eating and moving. Okay, go to the tram and eat and move. There is a tram restaurant, How it will be? Sitting and eating and moving. Okay, go and enjoy. All kinds of enjoyment. Yeah? Yet, they are less happier than a devotee. Why is that? What is that? What is that?
That is Krishna's devotee is doing service to Lord Krishna, and materialist is doing service to the material world.
So, they should be happy, no? They're doing some service.
No peace.
No peace, only peace. Prabhu? Correct. Harsha Soka. What is the son of this Chitraketu Maharaj's son? What is his name? Very, very intelligent, okay? Angera Muni. Harsha Shoka means happiness, distress. That means in the material, whatever is the source of happiness, that will be the cause of distress. I like my computer. One day, my computer will give me a shock or something happens to my finger because of that computer. I'm so much attached to my house, something will happen that will annoy me. That house will annoy me. This is what? Whatever is the source of happiness in this material is a cause of great distress. The same object. That's how it works. Okay? Now, the happiness realized, the so-called happiness realized by a materialistic person is coming from where? From the mind. Yeah? And how it comes? The contact between senses and sense object. That's all it is. Matter. Okay? Senses. I see a movie on the screen. I don't see a person. In the screen, someone else is dancing. A man and woman. I've not even seen them. They're dancing, jumping, like cats and dogs. I'm happy. Movie. I'm happy, satisfied. Contact with senses and sense objects. And that is stored in the mind, happiness. Where is the spiritual happiness coming from? From the soul. A soul in contact with the Supreme Soul. So that is why even a person, he does a very small activity for Krishna. Little bit. He has come to the temple. He has listened about Krishna. He's chanting one round of Hare Krishna mantra. Just go to upstairs and take some prasad, little bit prasad. He's very happy because the soul comes in contact with the Supreme Soul. In the material world, the senses and the sense object interaction, you are happy. If a skin and the skin touches, you are happy. Highest pleasure. Srila Prabhupada calls, we are all having skin disease, you know? Indian skin, American skin, Australian skin, skin disease we have got. Srila Prabhupada calls that. So therefore, that is what? The happiness of the devotee is faced. Now, to add on to that, in the Bhagavad Gita 2.7, Krishna explains this. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires alone can achieve peace. Not a person who tries to satisfy such senses, such desires. A person who is constantly, looking for satisfying his desire will never be happy. But on the contrary, a person who has stopped his desires, he will be happy. So, moving forward, what we'll do is today, I want to have a quick discussion about this point. The last sentence of Srila Prabhupada's purport, one must give up his faith in material things and give up attachment for them. Then one will be sober and peaceful. So this is the technique Srila Prabhupada is giving. Okay? Now what is that we are going to see now? We have in this material world two energies, two choices. Yes? Because we are included, we are marginal energy of the Lord. What are the two energy we have got to deal with? And spiritual energy. So two energies. Material energy, spiritual energy, because we are marginal energy. Okay? We have got two energies to deal with, and we have got two choices. Okay? What's the first choice? Hare Krishna. The first choice is, we will enjoy the material energy. Okay? Enjoy the material energy. We'll exploit the material energy. And what happens? Because of that, as Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, we are bound. That creates a bondage. The first option is, yes, we interact with the material energy, we exploit it, and because of that there is a bondage. And the other option is, we do not want to act on the material energy. So what happens? When the material energy is not acting, the spiritual energy will act. Now, how do we understand this? How do we understand that? Okay. Srila Prabhupada gives an example. An expert electrician. Yes? An expert electrician, he uses the same energy to convert into heat or cold in a room. Got the point? An expert electrician, he uses the same electricity to produce heat or cold in a room. In the same way, we can use Krishna's energy based on our desires. We can use. Does it mean we can control? No. I didn't say control. We can use Krishna's energy interexchangingly based on our desire. So, how are we going to act? The first thing is, if we are going to enjoy the material energy, obviously it's going to bind. And therefore, that is a blind path. It's darkness, blind path. So what happens? It leads more and more into darkness. A person from goodness comes down to passion to ignorance, and then he gets an animal body. He will not know anything, as we discussed earlier. Animal body, nothing. He just acts based on his instinct. Now, how do the materialistic people, how do they do this? They do this at the expense of others. I want my enjoyment, so what I do, I exploit my friends, my partners, or people under my care. So through exploitation, they work. And then what happens? Your karma builds up. And then misfortunes comes, more and more. Suffering comes. This is what Srila Prabhupada is talking. Okay? Just because of enjoying propensity, exploitation, taking undue advantage, karma, suffering, lamentation. Yeah? But on the other hand, a devotee, how does he progress? How to stop this material energy? What is the instruction which Krishna is giving in chapter 6? 6.35. That by practice and by detachment. What is the practice we are going to do? What is the practice? Hearing and chanting. That's a practice. And what's the detachment we are going to do? Austerity we are going to do. What is austerity? The 4 regulative principles. So what happens? By hearing and chanting, the heart becomes purified. By detachment, what happens? The senses become subdued. And with this combination, what happens? One progresses. And when one progresses, the material energy does not disturb him.
Surrender.
That's the process of surrender. Yeah. So the material energy, rather than pulling him down, what will happen? What it will do? It will elevate him. It's a very, very important point to know. Either go with the flow with the material energy and get entangled and get an animal body, or follow the process of Krishna consciousness through detachment and practice, suitable practice. And that is hearing and chanting. Now, if you do that, then what happens? The material energy will not as much as bother like before. And gradually we can make progress. So, there are two energies and two choices we have got. And how we use them based on our desires matters. And it matters every minute because the free will is given. Every minute it matters. Yeah? Based on our desires. If I want to pick up material energy, then this is what I'll get. Then if I want to pick up the spiritual energy, this is what I get. Because free will is given. Krishna has given the choice. Two choices every minute we have got. Okay? All right. So we will stop here. Yes, Prabhu.
Take help of the spiritual master. Take help of a spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master.
Yes. Guru, Sadhu, Sastra. Very important for obtaining spiritual knowledge. Through the parampara system, very important. Because the parampara gives us two things. What is that? It not only gives instruction, but also mercy. Very, very important, yeah? Mercy also we get, and therefore we can progress.
Thank you so much for giving this class. Question is, Prabhu, you spoke about attachment and detachment very elaborately. Now, how is attachment in Krishna consciousness different from the detachment? How is detachment?
Prabhu, do you want to give a mic to him or something? If you can. Yeah, Prabhu, you can take this, Prabhu, in the meantime. In the meantime. No, you can. Someone else.
So, Prabhu, my question is, how is detachment in Krishna consciousness is different from detachment of other school of thoughts, like even in Buddhism and other schools, spiritual. They also teach the same lesson of detachment. So, how is our detachment different from others' detachment?
Good question. But I have to answer, right? Prabhu, in other schools, they follow two-step process. Detach and then attachment. Okay? Detach from the body and attachment to the soul. But ours is, Krishna consciousness is a single step. Single step process. We don't detach. We get attached to Krishna. And therefore detachment already happens. See, today morning, it's very cold, okay? Full mist. Everywhere mist. I did not realize. When I took my car, I could not see within a radius of some 100 meters. I could not see. Full of mist. And then slowly as I was going, it was clearing and I could see. I don't know which side to go. Is it Nepean Road is straight or bending or... It's very difficult. Very hard. So, ours is a single step process. Okay? Now in the morning, if I thought, okay, it's very, very cold. I'm not in a mood to come. Let me tell someone else. There are so many good speakers. Mataji herself is there. All I can say is, Mataji, Yamuna Lila Mataji, please give a class. She will give an excellent class. Okay? I can tell her. But what I thought is, the choices for me is to be in the house. My house, it's very warm. My house, I'll stay. That is one choice. The second choice is, okay, go to the temple. Now when I left for the temple, automatically I'm leaving my home. Yeah? I did not want to detach from my home. I'm thinking I'm going to the temple to give a class. Then as I'm going to the temple, I'm away from my home. It's a natural process. When, as a tiny soul, when we get attached to the Supreme Soul, the process, naturally renunciation happens. It's a natural process because Bhakti has got two sons. Yeah? What are they? You will get one who practices Bhakti, one who chants Krishna's name, one who listens to Krishna, one who does a small service to Krishna. For him, what happens? Two things comes automatically. Knowledge comes in. What is the knowledge? That I am not this body. I am the owner of the body. And renunciation, he will not be attached to matter. Because the matter is only inferior energy of the Lord. The Lord has got two energies apart from us. Yeah? The material energy and the spiritual energy. The material energy is inferior, made up of matter. It doesn't move. But the spiritual energy is superior. It makes things happen. So therefore, when you are in the superior energy, the spiritual energy, the material energy is it doesn't matter. So inferior it is, matter. Yeah? So ours is a one-step process, Prabhu. Attachment to Krishna, that's what we want. Naturally, everything else follows. But in the other step, they detach from matter. You know, detaching from matter is not an easy step, okay? Such one has to extract himself from matter. Such a hard process. You know, everything, they'll say this is good things, this is matter, this is spirit, this is matter. So much of anxiety. But ours, we are moving towards Supreme Soul, and therefore there's no anxiety, only happiness. Such a wonderful process is ours. One step, positive, happy, blissful process. Did it answer, Prabhu? Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, if not, we'll... Prabhu?
So you said that we should not touch the matter, right? That there's two types of energy. One is the material energy, and another is the spiritual energy. So our body is also material energy. When I was coming here, I was thinking about this. So it's a very good coincidence you are talking about. The whole world, whole universe is only 1% of his manifestation. And 99% is this cosmic energy still remains. It still may be original form, most of the energy is called the God, particular God energy. So we are ourselves also material energy, our body is also material energy. So how we can get rid of that material things? Soul is there, body is there, so spiritual energy is there and material energy is there, and all the manifestation that you are seeing are material energy, nothing else. So can we get rid of the material energy? That is, you are saying that it is not easy. So can we any way that you can get rid of that material energy? Thank you.
For those of you who don't know, Prabhu is a professor in Monash University. So how can I answer a professor's question? But yet I'm trying. He's a leading professor. Okay, now we have got two professors here on the left-hand side and right-hand side. One is from Melbourne Uni and the other one from Monash. Okay, it's very difficult for me, but still I'll try. Prabhu, our understanding is, Vaishnava understanding is, we are a combination of matter and spirit. We are a combination of body and soul. Okay? Now what happens in the material world, we have got material desires and spiritual desires, okay? Conditional activity, constitutional activity. Now what happens is, when the material desire goes up, see here, the spiritual desire will come down. When the spiritual desire goes up, material desire will come down. So what I meant was, how we interact with this energy. It is up to us. Now if you keep on going for 1 week, you keep on going to, for example, I'm saying, movie or friends and all that, then you don't feel like coming to the temple. you don't want to chant, because your material desire has gone up. Your spiritual desire will come down. On the contrary, 1 week you come only to the temple every day, Mangalarati, this one. And then you don't want to talk to your friends. You want to come and just worship Krishna. Yeah? So how we use our desires to get associated with the material or spiritual energy, accordingly, it happens, okay? But understanding, again, the point I said, that material energy is always inferior to the spiritual energy, Prabhu. Spiritual energy on the top, material energy low. So always you make sure that your Krishna conscious activities is more than the material activity in a given time. For example, in a day, 24 hours, you ensure that at least whatever the time, you work out that. Otherwise, we will be always having difficulty to manage things. Any Krishna conscious activity is spiritual activity. Anything to please us is material activity. So that is lust. So lust or love. You have to see every minute. Is it lust? Is it love? Lust, love. Am I doing to please Krishna? No, I'm doing to please myself. Like that. In simple, Prabhu. But what happens is, I know it is always a tug of war, fighting. But gradually, we have got this step, Ato, Shraddha, Bhajana Kriya, a Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anatha Nivriti. It's a gradual process. Our Acharyas have given the process. So gradually, the impurities in the heart has to go. So that is known as Anartha Nivriti. It's a very, very gradual process. It doesn't go like overnight, You come to Krishna, then your heart is clear. It's not like that. Gradually. So the Anartha Nivriti is the one which is giving us problem, material desires. The unwanted desire, which is not needed, but it is in the heart because of the previous impressions. Now those desires has to be purged out. It has to come out. How? By the cleaning process. What's the cleaning process? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. That is the only way. We have to keep on cleaning. Otherwise, again, the impurities will come. Our heart is like a dustbin. Every week we empty, and every week we put in things also. And there's more, as you know, Prabhu. This is just a condensed version. Okay, we'll stop here. Gantharaj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nithai Gaura Premanandi. Guru Maharaj.